Hello everyone, my name is Alexandre Levada and I'm here to present the paper A Curvature-Based Isometric Feature Mapping. So before we proceed, here is a brief overview of the main topics to be discussed in this presentation. We'll start with a brief introduction and some motivation. Then we'll talk about the Frenet-Serre equations, which are the mathematical basis of the proposed method. Then we will talk about the proposed method itself, then some experiments and the results, and finally the conclusions and future works. So the main goal of this paper is to present a method for unsupervised metric learning, which is basically the process of finding a better distance function prior to pattern classification problems. This is done mostly by manifold learning algorithms. And as we can see in this figure, in these scenarios, the Euclidean distance is not a really good choice for a similarity measure, because the distance itself, the blue line here, does not belong to the space. So the main goal is to improve the isometric feature mapping algorithm for this purpose, metric learning. One limitation with traditional regular isomap is that they use the Euclidean, another manifold learning algorithms. I mean, they all use the Euclidean distance to define the edge weights. I mean, the weights of the edges belonging to the KNN graph. And this metric is known to be sensitive to the presence of noise and outliers. So the main contribution here is to replace this Euclidean distance by a patch-based curvature measure, as we will see in the following, justified by a differential geometry framework. So ISOMAP basically works as follows. First, from the input data matrix, we build an undirected graph, KNN graph. Then we compute a pairwise distance matrix T with the geodesic distances using Dijkstra's or Floyd-Warshaw's algorithm. And then we perform the embedding. We find the coordinates of the embedding using multidimensional scaling. So here a brief overview of the differential geometry of curves in space. So if alpha is a parametric curve, we define alpha prime as the tangent vector at that point t. Okay, the first derivative. Similarly, we can use the arc length parameterization, which is equivalent to normalize the tangent field to be unitary normed. Okay, so we have here alpha prime of S being the unitary tangent vector. So the normal vector, which is given by the second derivative, is orthogonal to the tangent vector. So knowing that the first derivative is the tangent vector, the normal vector is not more than the variation of the tangent field. The curvature, by definition, is nothing more than the magnitude of the second derivative of the parametric curve, the vector. In other words, we would say that this is the magnitude of the acceleration. So we want to compute a measure of how the curvature changes along a shortest paths in graphs. The Frenet-Serre equations, they basically express how the tangent, the normal, and the binormal fields change in terms of this Frenet trihedron, which is an adaptive basis function that at each point of the curve defines an orthogonal three orthogonal vectors and with unitary norms. So as we move along the curve, this trihedron just adjusts itself to the curve, and so we can express variations in the tangent field, normal field, and binormal field. As we can see here, the variation in the tangent field depends exclusively on the curvature. This k of t is the curvature function. Okay, the variation in the normal field depends on the curvature and in the torsion, tau. And the variation in the binormal field depends on the torsion, which is, the torsion is just how fast the curve escapes the plane defined by the tangent and normal vector. So, in summary, the variation of the tangent field is expressed solely in terms of the curvature. This is our motivation. So, we wanna, in the proposed method, we wanna interpret the shortest paths in graphs as discrete approximations for geodesics in manifolds. So what we wanna do is to use an orthonormal basis that define the tangent space at each point of the manifold or in the graph, in our case, as a reference frame to extract some kind of geometric information. So by sensing how this tangent space changes along a curve, along the shortest path, we can then build an intrinsic distance function to weight the edges of this KNN graph. So everything begins with the definition of a patch. A patch is nothing more than the central sample, the sample I, and its k nearest neighbors. So we have this matrix here, m lines by k plus 1 columns. So what we do is, in practice, is to approximate the tangent space at its vertex, at its point, we build a PCA subspace. So we find the covariance matrix of this patch, and we use the columns of this matrix U, I, which are the eigenvalues of the covariance matrix, to approximate the tangent space around xi. Basically, if we have a path, a shortest path, P from VA to VB, linking the samples XA and XB in the graph, we have for each edge of this path, two patches, okay, defining its vertices I and J. So we compute the covariance matrices at each patch, each patch of this path, and after approximating the PCA eigenvectors, which means we are approximating the tangent space at its vertex, we use a naive approximation for each one of the principal curvatures. Since we have here the tangent space is composed by a basis of m vectors, m tangent vectors. So we define the difference of each eigenvector of these matrices ui and uj. So the first column of ui minus the first column of uj, and the norm of this difference is approximately the curvature of this first component of the basis, orthogonal basis. So we have m principal curvatures. The intuition is that the more twisted an edge becomes, the higher will be the cost to traverse it in the isomath algorithm. So some experiments and results to illustrate the proposed method. We used 8 different classifiers, and we compute the average accuracy between these 8 different classifiers using a holdout 50-50 strategy, which means half of the samples for training, half of the samples for test. And we chose 36 different data sets from OpenML. Here are the 8 classifiers that we employed in this first study. Here is a summary of the results, in which we can see that the proposed method was successful in learning suitable metrics in terms of data discrimination. We can see here that in comparison to the other manifold learning algorithms, we obtained a very promising result. In fact. In fact, the average the average accuracy along all these data sets are shown here in the end of the table, as well as the median, the minimum, and the maximum of the accuracies. So to test if these results are somehow statistically significant, we performed the Kruskal-Wallis test, and the result is that there are evidence against the null hypothesis that all groups are identical. According to an Anemone post hoc test, we found that there are evidence that the proposed method produced in these data sets higher classification accuracies than the rest of the manifold learning algorithms. And in comparison to regular ISOMAP, we observed that in these data sets, there was an average increase of 12.8% in classification performance. Our conclusions: so K-ISOMAP is a method that obtained promising results, especially in situations where the number of samples is limited. Because here something we noted is that the method performs quite well when the number of samples is somehow not small, but limited. Because iterative algorithms such as t-SNE and UMAP, they require a large sample size for convergence to good results, because they rely on numerical algorithms such as gradient descent to perform the optimization. So when you have few samples, the result can be not so good as K-ISOMAP. A limitation, however, is that the method is quite sensitive to variations in the parameter K, the number of neighbors. So in this work, we just employ a line search in the interval 2 to 50 and select the model that maximizes the accuracy. We still don't have a solution on how to define this parameter automatically, but it is something that we will tackle in future works. Also, future works may include the use of other curvature estimation methods, and also a supervised version that penalizes edges linking samples from different classes. So we intend to improve knowing the labels of the samples to improve a little bit further the proposed method. So that's it.